Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
Need to call the meeting to order. Board member roll call. Mike Gardner.
Angie Rowling.
Bob Jarvis.
Brian Harris.
Approval of agenda. Approval of minutes, warrants. We can cross off correspondence, cross off excess weight permits. Maxim Pit P27 off-road GP race mass gathering permit with Paul Goyette and Priscilla Maxon. Town health officer job posting. Pownal cemeteries discussion. June 2nd, 2022 Town of Pownal tax sale, select board member to attend. Utility billing change to late billing notices. Marijuana cultivation and retail. Town hall update. Executive session, which is going to be for personnel and employee review. Public comment, adjourn. I'd like to add Steve Copey to the agenda, and I'd like to add him right after warrants in front of the Maxon Pit off-road race.
So moved.
Any discussion?
Oh,
Sorry, Bob.
well, second.
Any more discussion?
Can we just point out that
Yep. Jamie, you want to do roll call? Jamie's zooming in.
Hello.
Roll call vote in favor of the agenda. Mike Gardner, yes.
Angie Rowling, yes.
Harry Percy, yes.
Bob Jarvis, yes.
Brian Harris, yes.
So carried. Minutes of April 28th, 2022 select board meeting.
So moved.
Second it.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor? Yes.
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 Minutes of May 5th, 2022 special select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor? Yes.
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 Warrants, payroll, May 6th, 2022, the amount of $10,134.47.
So moved. Mike, you're in this one.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? Abstain?
Yes.
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 Payroll, May 13th, 2022, $9,790.74.
So moved.
Second it.
Discussions, corrections? Yes?
Yes.
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 So carried. Accounts payable, May 6th, 2022, the amount of $20,395.66.
So moved.
I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion, corrections? Yes?
Yes.
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 So carried. Accounts payable, May 13th, 2022, in the amount of $30,609.22.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, corrections? Yes.
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 Accounts payable for the new town hall, May 14th, 2022, the amount of $25,191.81.
So moved.
Second it.
Any discussion or corrections? Yes.
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 I'd like to make sure that all the board members please sign the warrants and payroll before you leave tonight. At this time, I'd like to ask Steve Copey, He's on the agenda.
Okay. Right with you.
Realize he was leaving the whole thing.
Okay, this was a friend of mine passed away a while back. A friend of his made it for him. And he gave it to me quite a few years ago, and it's been in my garage. It's not authentic for the area. It's missing some things. But it's a nice piece. A lot of people seem to like it. I think this would be an ideal place for it to be. It's up to you people if you would like it here. I would like to gift it to the town.
You got that, Paul? Yeah.
Nice.
No, have one of you guys help you hold it up, Steve.
They can see it.
Is it, bring it up just a little bit.
It's where
We're standing on it.
Wow.
But it's, yep, church and, yeah, like I said, some of the houses are missing in it. A guy in New York painted it for this friend of mine, and he had it for quite a few years and passed it on to me.
Do you know who's the painter?
Like I said, it's not authentic.
Hold it up just a little bit.
It's it's got, the main thing in it's got where this building is right now is right here. Right dead center of this picture. So I thought it would be an appropriate place for people to see it.
I think it would be, an absolute, awesome addition when we get the schoolhouse put in here and to go into the schoolhouse building, Steve, because it is, that's an old painting, obviously, some people don't know that, but of what it was like in the schoolhouse, that's my opinion.
Yep, I thought this was the right place for it,
Yep.
so if you
Yep.
people want it, it's yours.
Perfect.
I think it's really nice.
I agree.
Great
Thank you.
gesture.
With gratitude.
For sure.
Absolutely. And when Antique Roadshow says it's worth a lot of money, you can't have it back.
We have that on record, right, Hannah?
I'll leave it out there in the hallway. and you guys-
Or do you want to put it right into the box?
Yeah, when they come through town.
And I'm done, thank you.
Thank you,
Steve.
Which, we'll, then get that taken care of and then we'll, go into the, off-road race mass gathering permit. Give them a minute.
Mike, can I say a few words as far as the last race weekend?
Sure.
I don't know if anybody else went down there. I drove down a couple times throughout the day, signed in and went around and enjoyed watching the race there a little bit. And there was both times that I traveled down Darkwood, and I even went out 346 and out around that way. I wasn't seeing any hijinks on the roadways or anything else. I said everything I observed down on the track site itself, I mean, everything was clean, good family gathering, and kids having fun. You know? So I just wanted to share that. But that's what I observed, and to my knowledge, at least I personally have not received any negative complaints or emails, any form of messages since that weekend. I wanted to point that out also. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. So that brings us into, sorry, Siri thought I was talking. Brings us into Paul Goyette and Priscilla Maxon, I guess, are here to present your large gathering. Do we want to listen to them or do we want to ask questions? How do you guys want to handle this? We have the large gathering permit application. Everyone should have a copy of our ordinance. Tara provided us with that, and you should have a copy of the permit application in front of you as well. Has everybody read it?
Yep.
So this one is significantly larger, Paul,
Yep.
right? Come on over, I guess.
All right.
Priscilla, if you want to, it's fine too. This is a significantly larger event than what you had, on May 1st, is that correct?
Not significantly larger, but it is gonna be, it's a 2-day event as opposed to the 1-day, event. So it will be, the same amount of people, but just racing 2 days. So roughly about the same amount, if I would guess. We did a count on the campers that had gone in there, and that was 60 campers that showed up because we weren't sure how many were gonna be there. The difference in that would be, I would guess that there's gonna be more campers, so probably upwards of 100 if I had to guess.
Okay.
Might be less, like I said last time, I don't know exactly how many
Yeah, and
people they
some
watch
come in for
for.
Saturday and they leave, and then different ones come in for Sunday, so it's a rotating schedule.
Okay, so everyone has read his permit application. Does anybody have questions on the application or comments? And then how about, and we'll go through the application first.
One note that I want to make, and Mr. Goyette can clarify this, is that not all those campers are just campers. Some of them are basically portable garages.
Yes, utility, yeah.
Yes,
So, that's the other piece of it, is they're like called toy haulers. And, so I know we talked about a restriction before. I just wanted to put that out for common knowledge.
yeah, he'd be right. So there was 60 vehicles that came in and stayed for the night. Some of them would be a pickup truck with a tent. Some would be a regular trailer, and they make, bedding in their trailers as well. We had the porta potties brought down there as well. So we had all the facilities for those people who don't have a camper and no facilities in them.
Did you have any problems or complaints?
No, we went up and down the road, and Priscilla worked really hard at it because everybody that lives on the street wanted to make sure, like I said before, we didn't realize that there was any issues. So we wanted to make sure that there wasn't any. And if there was, we wanted to address them. And just being honest with everybody, like I was last time, the only issue that we had was some of the campers or some of the people coming out a little bit fast on the road. And I would try to make a repair for that as well. I could do, something along the lines of whether it be speed bumps on the road or have somebody out there patrolling the road just to keep campers or vehicles at a slower pace on the road itself.
You're talking about Dean Road is out?
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually went around and talked to all the neighbors. I got 125 signatures, which is that was only like 2 days effort. Everybody said to me, I asked them specifically, any complaints about the race? No, most of the elderly people said to me, it's awesome. I wish I could actually physically be there. The neighbor right in the back that waters the pit said wish she could physically walk over. Another neighbor looks over, she says, I love seeing the campers, the lights, the kids playing. She said, I love it. And again, the biggest complaint was Dean Road, which we were unaware. Now that we know, we can address it. Whether cones, put security down there, rubber bumpers, like portable rubber bumpers, we can do all that. Because I don't want them driving up fast. I mean, there's a couple families there with young kids. I did talk to everybody, people up Pownal, which borders the other side of it. Everybody was fine. One complaint, which I addressed it to this one individual, and I told her, if you have a problem, then I'll put you up at the Vermont for that night. If the noise really bothers you that bad. And she said she might be out of town that weekend.
So they know that this is going to be a night one this time, correct?
Yes, and I addressed the night specifically.
I had one person come to me and complain, but
Were they a neighbor? I mean, who was the complainant? I mean, what was the complaint?
that it's very noisy for old people to listen to all day.
Who was the complainant? I mean, we have a right to know that.
Well, it's not,
I don't know. I don't really know if you have that actual
I mean, was it a
right.
written complaint? Was it a verbal
It
complaint?
was a verbal complaint. It was just.
So let's,
But it was only one person.
We can address that, or how do you guys want to address this? Okay, first your attendance when you came in last time. Now you're saying you can have a maximum number of 1,000
Yeah,
people.
we're under that. This time we were under that, so it could be a maximum of 1,000 people.
Yeah, right, and you're saying you're probably having a minimum of 500, which you had probably over that
Yeah,
last
it was
time.
over 500.
Okay.
And you're following CDC and all that.
The minimum and maximums, I think, aren't they intended to be at one time, right?
Right,
So if people
yeah.
are-
Right. It varies throughout the day as well.
But so I guess my point is, the large gathering ordinance is 350 or more, so you're gonna have that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that everyone's clear that that's why we need the permit.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, I don't want to question why, and unfortunately, it hasn't been done in the past, and it probably should have been. So, not that anybody's trying to give you a hard time, we're just trying to cross Ts and dot Is.
Yep.
That's it. I have a couple of questions. One concern that I do have, is the night race going to 11 PM. I'm definitely, concerned with going to 11 o'clock at night. Not just for the neighbors, but for general population. And I know that it's only one night. And I get that part of it. But I also get the part that it goes all day long on Saturday and it goes all day long on Sunday.
8 to 3, right?
Well, 8 to 4 on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday is 8 to
4.
on Sunday, and Saturday would be
2 to 11.
2 to 11.
So can I just ask a quick question? At 11 o'clock, it's not like it's all over with. People still have to pack up and there's still noise probably for another good hour, correct?
I would say yes, but they're not running the motorcycles
Yeah,
no
it's
more.
not motorcycle noise.
It's
It's
just,
just noise.
Right.
yeah, it's people packing up their campers or shutting down for the night, yeah.
So my point is I'd like to see that 11 o'clock time changed. That's just my opinion. I'd really like to see it at 9, but there's probably a little.
Yeah, then it wouldn't be a night race.
Exactly. So
It would be a day race and
they race at night
At dusk.
with lights at dusk. So
Right.
I get that part.
Yep.
Okay, I totally understand it. I do think that 11 o'clock is asking a lot of the residents. I know even where I live, I could hear it last year, like it was in my backyard. Not that it totally bothered me, but
Yeah.
I
you could hear it. Yeah.
could hear it and I live quite a ways away. It does echo.
What's the noise ordinance? Is it 10?
Yes, that's my question.
I think it is 10.
It's 10.
And I think the noise ordinance is 10 o'clock. So,
May I interject? Okay, so this race is held at a dead-end road at a confined location where they're not traveling from South Mason Hill Road to County Road, back and forth. So it's self-contained. I mean, that should count for something. And I did go around and talk to the neighbors, and the immediate neighbors in their backyard are not complaining.
Bob?
I personally don't have the same issue. I think 11 would be fine. I mean, it's a once a year race. And it seems to have been pretty successful. And I would hesitate to do anything that's gonna bring down its success.
Scott just brought up a very good point. Excuse me for a second. Scott brought up a good point at the later races at the night race. It's the lowest amount of people that race are at that hours as well. So it's not, the busiest would be at the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock point would be the busiest time. So that the later race during the evening is the smallest amount of people because the pros go out and there's usually
Only
8
a
to 10
select number of people put lights on their bikes anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
not all the racers have lights on their bikes and they only come to watch the night race.
Right,
Wait till
so-
the next day.
The racers that are on Sunday, not all those race on Saturday. There's only so many people want to ride at night. It's exciting, it's something different, which is why I brought Rebecca here. Thank you for coming, Rebecca, or asked her to come. we went backwards and looked at all the different injuries that we've had. We've been here, this will be my 11th race, being here with 2-day events and so forth. And out of all those events, we've had 3 transports the entire time. The staff, you know, with the medical crew that we have is absolutely amazing. You know, I always have to thank them because they do just an unreal job.
We couldn't do it without them.
Yep, yeah, so, and that's where we're at now, with the donations to the
Yeah,
town
it's
as well.
contributed, how much have you contributed over the years?
Yeah, over $8,000 to the
To the
town
town,
as well.
so I would think that'd be substantial to the small town rescue squad.
I live right over on Snake Hill Road and it does not bother me. Just because of where I am around the corner, we barely hear it.
Yeah, and people on furlong, I went every angle and tried to, because I want to address if there is a problem. And like I said, I heard about the speed from a lot of those neighbors, and I get
Yeah.
it. I wouldn't have to speed by my house.
Okay.
I guess the other point would be that there isn't a whole lot of nighttime hours, right? It doesn't get dark till 9, so they've only got
2 hours.
There's 2 hours
to be able to do night racing.
Yeah, no, it's just a concern that was brought to me and I'm bringing it up and,
Yep.
you know,
Valid concern.
Yeah, we try to run the children, the youth class is at 8 o'clock. That way there, the youth class isn't running at night. That's one of the things the safety side of it, I don't want the kids out in the woods in the dark at night. Not that it's that far out, but it's just something that I try to pay attention to. It's all about the children. You show them, you know,
Okay.
show them how they can grow up doing something and they carry it for a lifetime. And that's where we all started from at some point.
you said your water supply comes from a ground well.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Has that been tested for public consumption?
not that I know of.
I don't know if that presents a problem for us.
No, nobody drinks the water. That's just I thought you were saying the well water, if there's any kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
Right.
I mean, on the permit application, the water supply is from a ground well.
Okay, so then. that
So
would only
if
be for
there's,
well
so if there's
and
public
street.
water, if there's consumption from that
There's no
well
consumption.
water,
Yeah, there's no.
So then I-
consumption.
then who becomes liable if we give a permit that,
Right, so then there's no water supplied. Water
Yeah,
is,
there's no water supply, they bring in their own water. Campers are self-contained,
right,
and then the food truck.
right. So that, these are just questions, that's all. I just have to make sure. Please don't think I'm trying to shoot this down, okay? Because I'm not. I just have to make sure that we're doing everything the right way. And unfortunately, I'm not sure it has been. Have you reached out to the sheriff's department?
yes, the sheriff's department has not returned the phone
Yes, I
call.
called Joel twice.
Because I talked to Joel tonight.
Yeah, but no return, and
After we're done.
I don't know if maybe, I know they still have a contract with the town. So whether maybe you may have to request that he patrol that road, because he probably won't listen to me. I don't know.
No, you can hire him. I reached out to Joel tonight on my way here. You can hire Joel, or not Joel, sorry. You can hire the sheriff's department,
Okay.
Yep,
okay? His recommendation is 4 deputies with the number of people that you're saying are gonna be
So
there.
you're saying patrol the whole property, not just the road?
And that's right, they'll have 2, his recommendation was 2 foot patrol and 2 road patrol, which should take care of all the road problems on Dean Road. Those problems should go away on Dean Road.
Mike, Jim Costas has his hand up, but should we wait until we're done discussing and then you can open for public comment? Okay,
Public comments at the end. At this time, we may change that, but not right now.
okay.
So that was just, from Joel. And I don't have another contact through the sheriff's department. That's why I went to Joel and asked him. Okay? So his recommendation was to have 4 deputies there Saturday and Sunday. When your porta potties, and I assume, I'm not in the porta potty business, and when they're telling you.
Me neither, that's why I call it.
Right, and they're telling you that 10 is gonna suffice what you need.
Yep,
Okay. And then your private security is, that's your.
I hire them, yep.
And you hire them, and that's fine. Do you have any objection to the 4 deputies?
I do not have
Oh,
any objections.
okay.
To me, it seems a little bit
Excess.
excessive, but
I'm,
it's just my opinion.
It's just a recommendation, it's not a requirement.
well, we can put,
Yep.
right, we can put that. We can put that on and say, you have to have 4 deputies there. But I don't want to do that, Scott. I'd rather come in here and say, look at Sheriff's Department's recommended 4 guys. Now, the people who are racing bikes and coming in probably aren't the type that are gonna give the Sheriff's Department or the deputies a hard time.
Right.
But
Because they want to be able to have the race. And I think
But there's always that potential, right? So he's looking out for the safety of his officers is what is the discussion that we
Yeah.
had as much as anything else.
It's geared.
I, just my side, but I can see the patrol for the street. I go to, I don't know how many events a year. I've never, Southwick's the only one I've ever seen patrol at.
And that's because
Yeah.
Just, they're not saying it don't need, but it's a pretty friendly.
How many private?
I've never really seen fights.
We're talking.
And I can tell, this time I handed out flyers, which Jamie can attest to. He got a copy of the flyer, and I was telling people that they're, once they go in, they're not going back and forth on D Road on ATVs and motorcycles. And I know that just by me handing out a flyer. I said, because I told the parents, I said, if we catch the kids out on the road, they're disqualified from the race, whether they paid for the transponder, registration, or they're gonna be escorted off the property. And I think that helps just by handing out flyers.
Yeah, so with my security, I also have, which James is my rider rep. I have, and that's why he's here tonight as well. I have a rep that if there's any issues at all, I'm not the last say. He's always there for me. Whenever there's, even if it's, oh, I got 3rd place and you really got 5th place, but they go through, no matter what it is, he's my not my last resort, but he's the guy who's always there for me. So James is just amazing and he's always doing a great job. So he helps me patrol the area along with the rest of my team as well. And as anybody's seen me at night, I'm usually one of the last people ever to go to bed because I stay up and I make sure
And I do the
everything
same
is.
thing.
Yeah.
So, what I might suggest is, I know you've already reached out to him, but I would think that a conversation with Joel might actually raise his confidence level and lower his recommendation.
Yeah,
But
it just seems like a lot of people, a lot of police officers. I mean, we're going Unadilla this weekend, there'll be 6,000 people there. You won't see a cop all weekend.
They don't.
That, Paul's events are tiny compared to what most of us race every other weekend that falls off. And like John said, Southwick is a couple times, very few issues. It's a very tight-knit community, all of us, we got tens of thousands of dollars of motorcycles and generators, and it's not locked, it's.
Yeah, we've had no thefts, we've had no drug overdoses, we had no
The
drug.
issues come from outside people that come there to party sometimes, but, most of us are in bed by 10,
Right.
11, and.
Right, because they gotta
Get up
go to
and
the
race at 8 o'clock in the
races.
morning.
Yeah, I mean, I've never.
I'm not
taken
against the
drug
law enforcement being there
overdose or
before, seems like a big expense
a small event.
for a small event.
I mean, I certainly can get somebody to be on the road. You can get somebody to wander around inside the pit. I think we can handle that, or let us be given the chance to handle that on our own, because like I said, just by handing out flyers, I think I eliminated a lot, just for this one day
How many
race.
years you've been there, how many times has the sheriff's department?
Exactly, they've never been called, since 2017, the sheriffs have never been called to the property for a drug overdose, speeding, or fighting, or stealing, nothing. And there's very minimal trash even when they leave, I can't believe it. That first event, I said, wow. The people take what they bring in, they take out.
It's a family event, it's, like I said before, it's really geared towards the children. And if you give the kids something to do now, you give them a gift for a lifetime. That's how I see it. Anyways, I'm sorry.
No, that's why we're here. We're here for conversation.
Yep.
You know, that's the only bad thing that anybody could say is not say anything at all. Okay, if you get an idea, throw it out there. That's how I operate. You know, just because I bring something up doesn't mean that's how I feel. It's just, you know, concerns and things that trying to do the research on different things and, you know, getting suggestions and going back and forth. And I think Bob probably has a good point. You know, maybe your conversation with Joel would,
Increase his confidence level.
increase his confidence level a little bit and he can say, okay, you know, two sheriffs are gonna be fine. And I think, just getting to your point, Priscilla, if there's somebody that's out there on the road, doing something foolish on the road, if, you know, John, is that your name?
James.
James, sorry. I apologize. If James was to go out and say to somebody on the road, hey, cut it out, you know, whatever's going on, he's not a law enforcement officer. I understand you can pull the transponder and whatever else is going on, and you guys are gonna police that person from there on in. I have total confidence that that person's not coming back and gonna race at your events, right? And I don't care if it's Scott or, you know, Chad or whoever it is, they're not coming back to race at your events. I get that. But at that moment, that's where I worry
No,
about.
I absolutely, you know, I don't think it's nice to have a presence for sure.
Yeah.
Because, like I said,
Yeah,
us that are there paying to do this stuff, I'm not worried about it.
No,
You know,
that's
outside
right.
people, it's a whole other story, and.
right. That's what I'm worried
At
about.
least one is a good presence to have, you know, whether they're sitting right at the entrance, just, even if they park a cruiser there, no one's in it.
Yeah.
You think they're there, you know what I mean? It's
No, you're right. You're right.
it's not a bad presence to have, I'm sure, you know, they're not gonna charge us $25 an hour. You know, you're talking $400 an hour for these guys to be there for 2 days.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that much, but you're right. You're right. It's definitely an expense and I get that part of it.
And for a small organization that really is making very little, you know, I don't know, you know what I mean? It just, if he Paul breaks even at the end of the year, good for him. You know, he puts a lot of time into these
Yeah,
events.
no,
And we all came from another series that we broke away from because of the pure size of it. You know, so it was nice to downsize and we can have fun again.
right. No, I'm totally about that. So that's something, you know, I think we definitely should have, you know, someone from the sheriff's department, you know, give us a recommendation. You know, like I said, I was in conversation. I umpired a JV softball game tonight. I got done at 6:30 and it was on my way here. Okay. The conversation I had with him, I'll be honest with you, it was nothing that was, you know, so that's just where the conversation went. So it was pretty quick and with not a lot of information.
Of course.
You know, I was going off the permit that we had the potential for 1,000 people. Now you're saying there's probably not going to be 1,000. More than likely, there's not going to be 1,000 at one time. So maybe he's going to knock that recommendation down to 2, or maybe he's going to say that one person there. I would suspect that they would want 2, just for safety for his deputies. Just, I don't know that. I'm just saying that. You know, that's my.
And that size crowd and other situations might need that. I was just speaking up to say, like, most of these are coming.
No, I
might go to same thing.
You don't know. I think, you know, I'm sure they are. But what about the uncle, your kid's uncle or cousins or whatever that came in and Scott's boy ran yours off the trail? Oh man, you know, it could get, you guys that are racing every single week together, I don't think that's a problem at all. Okay, because I've been involved.
That's who shows up at the races though too, so it's, you know.
Somebody's up visiting from Virginia or, you know, who knows where, you know, and I'm being hypothetical, obviously, but I think what I'm also looking at for all of you guys, not just Paul and Priscilla, is I'm looking at, long-term. I don't want somebody to come back and say next year, well, look what happened last year. because there wasn't a sheriff there or whatever. Okay, so and I get James's point, it's an expensive thing, but at the end of the day, if that sheriff is there and they can curb a potential problem right then, right there, then next year when it comes back, when you guys come back, because you have to do this again, but it's pretty much bring your paperwork in, we talk about it, and we send you down the road with a signed piece of paper. Okay, so I'm looking at long-term, so that we don't have to go through this kind of a process every time. You can send in the permit, Priscilla or you or whoever can send in the permit. Okay, we talked about it on whatever, the date, May 12th, 2022. This is what it is. Good, we're good to go. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it, is long-term. Anybody else have anything? I know, I know that sure the Pownal Rescue can definitely use money. I know that for sure on that.
I would just like to state, just for the last thing, I know it's already been said, but Paul's had a clean record with the town.
No, for sure.
So, I mean, he's been here many times, there's been multiple night races, he's had a clean record, I just don't, I'd like to see this not made into a big deal, because I don't really think it is.
I'd rather give.
Well, I don't think we're trying to make it a big deal.
No, I don't mean that in that way, I just
No,
don't think it's a big deal, I mean, I just think if you guys were to attend the race, you would see it's really family oriented.
And Jamie said that.
Yeah.
I think so.
And I saw Jamie there, I saw him there a couple times.
So my point with doing it this way, Scott.
Yeah.
Is if someone were to come into the town with some other type of large gathering other than a motorcycle race that you guys are doing, okay? And they're gonna say to us as the select board, well, you didn't make them come get a large gathering permit. Why are you making us? Type of thing, okay? And that's where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to give anybody a hard time. I just want to make sure that we're doing things fair and equitable for everybody. Somebody comes in here that wants to throw on a big concert type of, why do we have to get a permit? Why didn't you guys
Yeah,
have
the
to deal?
permit's understandable, but again, we're talking with security, which that's gonna take away from the rescue squad if we have to pay for security. You know what I mean?
Well, I just think, like I said, my opinion is, long-term, I just think it's a better situation. So.
Will that hamper you guys in the future, being at your sports events? So you have a Little League softball tournament, whatever it is. If you had a Little League softball tournament, would that make it that you guys would have to have a sheriff on point there, because you never know when the drunk uncle's gonna show up?
I would definitely, at a softball tournament, because I used to play in those, okay? I would say it's probably more important there with less people than it is at a motorcycle race, okay? So, the short answer would be yes. The long answer is there 350 people or more there at one time? There's.
I was just asking a question.
No, I know.
Can I share my opinion?
Absolutely.
Do we have police presence at the fair? The town fair?
No.
True. I think if.
I don't know if it's required.
Do you have a large gathering permit?
We're not
Required.
we don't have
Town
to.
event, that's not.
We don't have to for a town event. That's in the ordinance.
The government always exempts itself from.
I know my opinion doesn't really matter, but if we say that he has to speak with Joel and base it on Joel's recommendation rather than requiring it as part of the permit.
Oh, I think that's where I was going, Tara. Yeah, I think that's where I was going with that, so I apologize if I missed. Joel's recommendation at first was 4, but then I liked Bob's idea of having a discussion with Joel and then seeing where we went from there. I think that was a better idea.
You guys certainly had thought about security, you thought about it being orderly, you've got a lot of processes in place, and Joel probably hasn't heard that.
Right.
When he made the recommendation. So that's where I think that.
I look like I roll the dice all the time, but no.
Balance all
You
this.
might recommend just a drive-through
Right.
once an hour or
That would be fine.
something like that.
The state police have done drive-throughs before. 2 years ago, they drove
Actually,
through
they
with the
did.
night race.
Yeah.
Yep, they did. That's right. They were outside the gate.
Yeah.
And I
They
actually,
said they
I
were
stopped
watching the
him and
race is
asked-
what they were doing. They
I
were
asked if
watching
there
the
was any
race.
issues and he said,
This
no,
is,
no,
this
just
is
check
his
it out.
11th race and there hasn't ever been a problem where we've needed their presence. And if we do, then we call.
Right, then, yeah, because I told them when they came in today, I said, if you go on the road, it's gonna stop us from having this race. You stay off of Dean Road with your ATVs and motorcycles. Kid wanted to go down and go fishing. I was standing on the road. He says, I'm just going fishing. I said, you're walking. You're not taking your motorcycle.
Another suggestion might be, when you or we talk to Joel, ask him for a minimum and maximum. Because then we here can say that we're in favor of going forward with it if we adhere to whatever Joel's, or whatever the sheriff's office minimum recommendation is.
Right, and I'm not sure it would come from him at this point, but he's our contact person and he's the person I'd go
Sure,
to.
it's just right.
Mm.
Looking for a
At this point.
recommendation.
Mm-hmm. And I think, me as a board member, I'd be comfortable with that. And he may say, well, like you said, every 2 hours or whatever it is, or one deputy for each day or whatever his recommendation, or let me rephrase that, whatever the sheriff's department recommendation would be, I'd be comfortable with that.
But
Okay.
the other thing is these guys gotta reach out and actually meet with the sheriff's department, explain the type of security they're doing. Therefore, they have a total understanding of what is needed. I don't think that's actually happened. They've called, but they haven't got a call back. So I recommend you guys call the sheriff's department itself and leave a message there. That way you can truly explain your situation, and that would shed some information of how he gauges the numbers that he recommends.
Yeah, no, I think me and Paul will write up a procedure, what we have in place now and present that to whoever down there. I don't know who's in charge anymore, but.
So what I'll do is, Jamie's right. You should call the sheriff's department direct, whatever, I think it's 4,900 or whatever the number is. Okay? Tomorrow during business hours. All right? Call the sheriff's department direct. I'll make a phone call to Joel to make sure that it gets processed.
Okay.
So that it doesn't sit on a desk someplace for an extended period of time.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'll make sure that Joel, make sure that the right person sees the question, request or whatever, okay? I'll do that for you tomorrow. All right? And then I'm prepared. All of the questions that I had, you guys have answered sufficiently to me. I'm prepared to sign the permit based on the sheriff's department recommendation for security, if you guys are comfortable with that. Is that agreeable? And I think, James, you guys write up your thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure the sheriff's.
I live in Woodford.
Yeah, I'm sure the sheriff's department recommendations would have. Yeah.
I'll have that all written up tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure the sheriff's department recommendations probably get a change, like Bob said, once they find out what you guys do have in place.
Right.
And like I said, we're just going off pure numbers and what's going on and that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
No, a little different than when you guys had the concert,
Yeah, no, it's totally
you got
different.
1,000 21-year-old drinking and partying. We got maybe 800 people, but 450 of them are kids.
Yeah, no, I get that part.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure. So that's something that,
And I will say that I worked at the last race as stewards and we were so busy and we didn't sell any beer. It was all water and food.
Yeah, so it does bring in revenue for Stewart's,
It does.
Winchester, Dwyer's.
I had a hard time keeping up.
That's a good thing. It brought some business to town.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm not against it. I just want to make sure, like I said, that for future events, other than this, that we're all on the same page.
Definitely.
So, I'll entertain a motion to sign this large gathering permit as presented, based on the sheriff's department recommendation for security.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion, questions, comments?
Where do I sign?
Roll call.
Roll call, sorry, I drew a blank.
I know you did.
Yep, I drew a blank.
Angie, I.
Aye.
Bob, aye. Brian, aye.
Mike, aye. So, once Joel gets that
Yeah.
recommendation,
So my last
we'll get it back
question
to you
then is, what is the hours?
As you
as requested,
As you requested.
as your permit is requested. We didn't change your
Make sure I
permit.
don't want
So I'll just get something from the sheriff's department and I'll drop a copy off to this office.
Yeah, you
So
can.
you have to run
Yep.
private permit.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, yep, drop it off to Tara or Hannah.
All that you used for the other stuff you can,
Yep, perfect, thank you.
or drop.
All right, and then, what are your, like 3 weeks away?
Yeah, it's.
June 4th and 5th.
June 4th and 5th, yeah.
Yeah, so we should have plenty of time to make sure you get everything all squared away. Okay?
Will that be approved at a town meeting? Will I have to be here? Do you
No,
just-
no, it's approved now.
It's approved now.
They're,
Pending the sheriff's recommendation. You're good to go.
Flyers or advertising material, I actually have to post the permit online, so I rather do it in form of a flyer that kind of looks better than this.
Sure.
So if you can send it to me.
Yeah, if you can email that. Yeah, because we have to, once we sign this permit, I don't think we have to sign it, or
48 hours.
once we sign it,
Okay.
right? Not 48 hours from tonight.
Well, if you're.
We're gonna sign it tonight. We okayed it.
We're going to approve it upon the sheriff's department recommendations.
Okay.
I mean, you just said it was approved.
But it's upon the sheriff's department
We
recommendation.
voted on it so we wouldn't have to vote on it again.
Right.
The contingency that you meet the minimum requirement from the sheriff's department.
Right.
I think once you talk to Joe, it'll be, yeah.
No, I do. I think you have a great process. I just, like I said, my conversation with him was based solely on numbers, not on 800 people, but 450 of them are kids.
Right.
Okay, that was never in the conversation at all. It was based solely on numbers.
Changes a lot of things.
It does.
No, it changes a lot of the dynamics, and I really and truly believe that they'll knock that way down. Okay? I do. I'll be surprised if they don't. And the thing about it is, we would have a meeting, what's the night? So it's a meeting the 26th. So worst case scenario, you'd have to come back the 26th to another meeting if something was haywire and we could rehash it out. Okay?
Yeah,
If something was, if you didn't agree with something, I guess, is what,
sure.
but I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
Having the sheriff's, I'll get ahold of the sheriff's department, we'll figure that out.
But
I just want to say thank you to all the
Yes,
people
thank
in
you so
town. I live in Westfield, Mass, so
Yeah.
driving up here and being friends with these people that come here, this is how all the races go.
listen, I know,
They're all here, they have my back no matter what.
when I look around the room, okay, I know them all, right, Chad?
But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. for
Yeah,
being
thank
here.
you.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Town.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Clear the room right now, why don't you?
Look at the room. All right, you guys have a good
All
right, have a good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We do have somebody with a handout.
No, I told him.
Oh,
Yeah, we did tell.
I told him.
Town health officer job posting.
Did everybody see it?
Yep.
And that looked good.
Yes, it did.
You agree with the date of the 25th, and then we can discuss it in an executive on the 26th.
Good, perfect timing.
Perfect.
Okay. So I guess I need you to, okay, Matt?
Pownal Cemeteries discussion.
So we were, as Mike knows, we met with the Pownal Cemetery, Oak Hill Cemetery, whatever you know it as. And they have no more members left to their association, so they are basically abandoning it. However, they are abandoning it with a balance in their bank, about 10 grand. So, as a select board, if there is no association, it's kind of your duty to oversee the cemeteries in town. Especially when it's abandoned, there is nobody else to take care of it. So in my research, what I found is there is not a lot of oversight for our cemeteries in town as a whole. There's a couple different people handling it right now. And what I guess I want to ask the board to do is not only to accept the Oak Hill Cemetery, but to sort of put me in charge of organizing cemetery oversight, see if we can become a part of the Vermont Cemetery Association, which will open us up to more funding to take care of the cemeteries. We're also going to be running out of actual cemetery space to bury more people, so.
I was gonna say,
I was just gonna ask that
I
question.
thought Oak Hill was already all sold out.
It's sold out, right?
It's close to being, if.
It's not sold out according to
Well, I
the
know
records.
the last 10 years or so, because we run into it with our family burials where they're double booking plots.
Right, so I think it's essential that we address the situation because I would like to be buried in Pownal. And I know a lot of other people would like to be buried in Pownal, and there currently isn't an option. Soon will not be an option for that.
So in our meeting with, what board members they have left right now, Tara and I met with them, one morning about a month ago. And in their plan that they have at Oak Hill right now with their, basically $10,000, their plan was, and I think we should honor that plan because I think they've done a really good job, was to have a bunch of stone repair work done in that cemetery. They've already contacted, sorry, they haven't contracted, they've contacted someone to come in and repair a significant number of the stones with the money that they have left in their association. And I think we should honor that rather than assume that money. Which brings us to the maintenance part of it. And I have to abstain from this, but my opinion would be if the town takes this over, that our contracted person that does our own cemeteries now, the ball fields and whatever else, just take that cemetery as well. He already does it for Oak Hill Cemetery
Okay,
anyway.
that was gonna be my question. Can he handle the workload?
Do you happen to know what he charges Oak Hill?
It's 400 a week.
It's 400 a week?
Yep, I did not know that.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Do they pay him week by week or had they paid him for the season?
Weekly, I think. They were trying to avoid not paying him this year. But they have paid him a couple of weeks now.
Okay.
yeah. So I know he has started work down there for the spring cleanup and whatever else, because there was a bunch of trees down and some other things, so. I do know that he has started work down there.
Well, the reason I'm asking is you say there's $10,000 in their account. If they had already prepaid him for the year, then I would say I would be fine with using that money toward the stone repair. But if they haven't, and we're gonna assume the extra cost, we should just use that $10,000 for this year to pay for the ongoing maintenance. And then next year, we're gonna have to increase the budget for it.
We're gonna
account for it.
There is no cemetery budget, actually, but there's a mowing.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I mean. There's sort of a gap in the system where Ellen has the Jackson Cross Cemetery. Julie has one of the other ones, and she has the recording system, but there's been no real oversight to it. You know, there's been nobody managing it, I guess.
How many cemeteries do we take care of? 3?
No, we take care of Indian Massacre.
But that has an association still.
It does?
Yes, but there aren't many members left. That's soon to be.
But we take care of that. We pay the mowing and maintenance. Indian Massacre, Gardner Cemetery on Mount Anthony Road.
Yeah.
The Center Cemetery right here. Jackson Cross Road.
Love it.
The Lovett Cemetery at the racetrack. And
So we pretty much take care of them all, except for Oak Hill.
Except for Oak Hill.
I don't know if we do the one on Carpenter Hill. I don't think we do that one.
We're not concerned with like small, like privately owned, right?
No. No.
Private property.
No, because I actually, my family has a cemetery now, at the farm, so.
Right, and we wouldn't be concerned if like a church had their own, they would be the association for that cemetery.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to figure out how much this is gonna cost. I mean, I think we have to do it.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
Cemetery. Let's see what we can do to keep the cost low, because it is ongoing. 400 a week sounded like a lot.
I went through that cemetery the day that we went and met with, we were gonna meet at the cemetery, but I gotta tell you, it was pretty cold and the wind was howling down there, and Sarah and Kenny Odell, and I decided, you know what, no, it's a lot warmer inside the firehouse down by the post office, so we met inside the Pownal firehouse. I drove through that cemetery. I'm also a person who thinks that our cemeteries are extremely important. But when you drive through that cemetery, and I think you probably do it in every one actually in town, there's a lot of old town names in that cemetery down there. There's a lot of them.
And there's a lack of upkeep, grave sites, even in the cemetery down here, you know, there's a lot of really
Old worn stones that are toppled.
And, you know, if we were part of an association in Vermont, we could access different funding to upkeep those cemeteries.
So I'm all for that. I think putting you in charge of that is a really good idea. And then with the mindset of where can we get funding, where can we, how can we keep our costs low? Even if we can get funding, we still want to keep
definitely
that cost low.
Is the added duties gonna be too much on you? Cause I don't wanna become too overloaded.
No, the cemetery was something that I wanted to take on actually, so.
Okay. You guys probably don't know this answer. You don't know how many weeks. It's hard to tell how many weeks we would mow.
It's usually
Maybe
second week
to-
in May, I thought. You know, they started earlier than that. May.
Usually it's like I think it's the last weekend in April, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right around there, May 1st, last weekend.
Because he mowed the ball field before our opening day, and our opening day was the 30th.
I think
it's usually Memorial Day weekend before, then Labor Day weekend, right?
His
Usually.
contract specifically states what the mowing season.
So I do know that last year, when he billed us, there were weeks when he didn't bill certain cemeteries or certain town mowings because the grass was burning and he didn't actually mow them.
Correct.
So in order to go with to say it's $400 a week, well, that when he mows, it probably is. But there's weeks when he doesn't mow because of weather conditions, meaning he doesn't. I know Jackson Cross Road, there was 2 or 3 weeks last year at least that he didn't mow because the grass was burning like crazy out there.
Right, but I think for mowing season, I'm sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
I was gonna say, usually towards the end of July or to the middle of August is when we have our high temp and less rain area, and that's when the grass slows down and gets to that condition. So, I mean, even at the vet home, sometimes we'll go 3 weeks without mowing.
Yeah.
Right, but I would say that the mowing is probably much more predictable than things like plowing. So,
Well, we don't do anything winter maintenance on them, obviously, the cemeteries, but.
well, right, but point being 0 every year, it should be fairly consistent with maybe 1 or 2 mowings off. I mean, it's not gonna be, it's nowhere near as variable as plowing.
A 6-month mowing at $400 a week, 24 weeks is $9,600. You know.
That Tara will find somewhere else.
I will try.
Well, I think we need to, I think it's something that's been, and I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time on this because Angie wants to get out of here tonight. And so do I.
Blame me.
Well, that's because you're sitting next to me tonight, and I always go left instead of right.
Okay.
All right, just remember that.
Can't blame me because I'm fine staying till 11.
I think our cemeteries have been neglected in the town of Pownal for a long time, other than mowing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they just need, and I think it's a huge part of our history. And I think Tara's willing to take this task on. And I think we're all in agreement with that. I think, like I said, I'd still like to have them try to maintain those stones down there and we just take on the cemetery maintenance and move forward. I know it's not in our budget. Well, I just think it's something that needs to be done.
I agree.
To have Sarah take on the cemeteries and follow up with the research and report back to the board.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Find us the money.
Okay.
Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. So carried. Now I'll entertain a motion that we take on the Old Kill Cemetery, in the town of Pownal.
So moved.
Second it.
Any discussion? Questions?
What do you want me to do with their money for now? Maybe, are you gonna make them? Are you gonna
Do
move
they have a
them?
rough idea if they've contacted somebody already? They must have a rough idea what they're gonna spend.
Yes, and it was,
Over their budget there.
they have, but they were gonna contact him if you so choose and say, we have this amount, what can you do for this amount?
For the stone maintenance.
For the stone maintenance, yes.
What their hope was, and I don't know if it is possible, their hope was they're gonna say to the person that they've already contacted, we need our stone maintenance done, this is what we have, can you do it? And they were hoping that a significant number of the stones and problems were gonna be taken care of with that amount of money. That's what they were thinking that was gonna happen. So I guess we can amend the motion about the money. Because we didn't discuss that, what they have in their bank account.
My personal opinion is I think they should try to fix as many stones as possible with the 10,000.
It's 10 and change, it was like 10,600.
10,436.22.
I knew there was a 6.
They paid, yeah, they had to pay Tristan, so.
So,
And that'd be less work that we would have to do down the road.
Right.
and they, that was their plan. And,
And then hopefully we can find some more money.
so is that an amendment to the motion that the motion is to take on Old Kill Cemetery with the money that they have in their bank account earmarked for stone repair?
Yes.
Do I have a second to that amendment?
Second it.
Any more discussion? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you. June 2nd, Town of Pownal tax sale, select board member to attend. Anybody available that day?
What time is it?
10 a.m. So Ellen said that the reason someone should attend is that in the past, if a property does not sell, the town purchases it, and in the past, we have not lost money. And then that's why she said it's important to have a select board member there.
I can-
to oversee.
I can be there in a second. Just remind me that morning.
There's a field trip.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. It's so crazy. I can do it in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Unless you can, Jamie, that's totally fine with me too, but I know
Well,
your work schedule,
I could probably get, it's far enough out, I get the day off.
Are we allowed to send a representative other than a select board member? Like if one of us couldn't attend, could we authorize Tara or Hannah to act on our behalf?
I don't know, Brian, that's a good question.
Awesome.
I don't know, that's a great question.
That is a good question. I don't.
Yeah, we could look into that. But at this point, I think, either Jamie or I'll, definitely one of us will be there.
And you can be there on a personal level, just so you know, and a select board member level. You just have to specify who you're voting, if you're, or who you're.
So if you want to.
If you're bidding for your personal, you're bidding for the town, yeah.
Right, you just have to announce it ahead of time
Right.
to the attorney that's on site or on site.
Okay. That's good information.
I've done a few of them already, so.
Okay.
12, utility billing change to late billing notices.
So this might be better with Darcy, but I'm not sure because we handle the billing for the utility. And what's happening is we send the notice when it's due. And then the second month when it's late, they get another notice. And it's a lot of postage and a lot of printing. The bills are due the same month every year for the last 11 years. Do you think the late notices are necessary? Because when they get their next bill, say they didn't pay and the next quarter came, that interest and that late penalty
Is on their new bill.
On the new bill.
Yeah.
So it's monthly billing, is that correct?
It's quarterly billing.
Quarterly.
But
Okay.
the first month of the quarter, we send out that bill, and then the second month, we're sending another whole notice, and we use special colored paper and, it's kind of, to me, it seems a little unnecessary. It seems like a waste of postage and.
So if the quarter is in June, let's just say, all right, ends in June, well, let's go July because that would be one, right? What are our quarters?
Put me on the spot.
Whatever, no, it's fine, it's fine, doesn't matter,
March.
it doesn't matter. So a bill goes out in March.
Yeah.
And then if they don't pay, then another bill, late notice goes out to the people who don't pay in April. And that's where you're saying we shouldn't, just so everyone's clear, I'm clear on what you're saying.
Right.
That
Second notice.
it's a second notice, it's a late notice. And,
That literally tells them they owe like $1.
it doesn't cover, so I guess my thing, I really like that idea, and I don't know if there's a way to track this. My only suggestion would be to, a new user first time. So if you were to come in and buy a piece of property in February, you're gonna get a sewer bill in March. They may not be aware of what's going on, so then you send that new user a late notice in April. Okay, but somebody who's been here for 30 years,
Right.
10 years on the sewer, I don't think sending them that late notice would be
So,
They know
yeah.
that they owe it. I mean.
right. But a new user, we gotta give them the benefit of the doubt,
Right.
I think.
Yeah, that's completely reasonable to send them
You
notice.
said the late notice is only $1 for the fee.
So
It should at least cover the cost of processing it.
Well, it's not. That's why I said it's like a total, that we're really.
Yeah, so she's saying it's a huge waste of money, and I agree with
Yeah,
that.
and time,
No, well, time is money.
right.
Time is money.
Did I make a motion to get rid of the late charge billing except for a new user, and then I would only do it once?
Only once. That's
And
right.
after that,
Is that feasible for you guys to do the billing? Is that something that's not gonna create a huge
No,
headache and
I already-
time-consuming thing for you?
I spoke with, our treasurer and, yeah, we're good to go.
Okay.
So, pardon my ignorance on this, but, I got a couple of questions. So we do or don't charge a late fee?
We charge interest penalty.
So it's only the
It's about
interest?
it's a 1% interest.
yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot at all. It's.
Okay, so it's 1% interest for being late, but it costs us whatever to send out the late notice. Can't we add the cost of postage to the late fee?
That was my thought, yeah.
I mean, and then they can get the notification.
It's a 1%
It's also
fee plus processing.
But when you can send out the second quarter, say you owe, what is it, $114?
Something like that, yeah.
It's $114 and you don't pay and it's a late charge. When they send out the second quarter, it's $228 plus $1 late charge.
Yep.
Okay, so you're just sending out a late charge with $114 with $1 added to it, so they owe $115. And then they get it again at the second quarter that they have a late amount due of $115 plus their new charge, which is Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. So if you've got somebody new on it and they're late, they'll get a notice. But once they get that first notice, then it just rolls into their next bill, their next
Right.
quarterly bill.
Correct.
That makes perfect.
That's just saving so much on their time and
Yep.
postage.
Oh, that's true. It's not just the
Yeah, it's all-
postage, it's how
yeah.
much.
It's how much it's their time.
Through it.
Yeah.
But I would hope that that would be a small percentage of them, but it sounds like it's not.
It's not, no.
Oh, boy. Okay.
But a lot of people come in, after the first, or it's not super late, but we still do the late notices and it's.
Well, right, I think Tara and Hannah are trying to streamline this whole process.
It's just one of those things that we realize like, oh, this is a waste.
Right.
I like it.
All right, motion on the table. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Amy's got,
Yeah, any more discussion, Jamie?
Yeah, I was gonna second the motion. The only point of order that I want to make is I didn't know if we were supposed to do this as the sewer commission. This particular billing falls under the sewer or wastewater.
It does, but we handle all of their billing.
I understand that. I just and maybe we want
That's where it hits the gray area.
the sewer commission to look at the late fee process. That's just another option in the future.
All right, so just to make sure we do everything correctly, let's set up a sewer commission meeting for next Thursday night.
Wait, next,
We're here next Thursday for cannabis.
I was going to do it before the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So let's do a sewer commission meeting at 6:30
Well,
Thursday night. And then it'll be strictly on that
One item.
one item. Good point, Jamie. And then we'll just vote on it then, so,
Okay.
all right?
Okay, so the marijuana cultivation and retail discussion was just, I wanted to give you guys kind of a preemptive info on it before we have next week's meeting. You should decide if you want who you want to put in charge of the cannabis commission, or like a cannabis control board for the town. Because we should definitely have one, because if we don't, the state only bases their information off of the applicant. So they have to go through the state for their permits for cultivation, for retail, for anything. If we don't have a board to communicate with them, they're gonna go straight to the applicant and get their information. So we really have no input. The other piece is you can either elect a government or a legislation body that is already existing to be your cannabis control commission, or you can do it yourselves, or you can create one. But that is a definite and absolutely should. And doing that doesn't mean we're opting into retail, but it gives us the commission to sort of look at how to go about those things. And the only other piece is, I know you had mentioned the tax piece. We can only really get a tax benefit right now from retail.
Okay.
And if you so choose to get into the retail, you have to opt in, and then there's, state agencies that you notify and things like that. The Cannabis Control Board specifically.
so if I understood that correctly, that means that if we put together our own board, well, let me start from the other side. If we don't put together our own board, it just falls under whatever the state says.
Right, the Cannabis Control Board at the state level would handle it.
Right, so if we want to have any local control on it, we need to have a board.
Exactly.
So, and that, I would be for that, just to maintain the local control. I mean, if we do it and it doesn't turn out well, we have problems or unintended consequences, we want to have some control over it.
Right.
And not have to defer to the state.
Right.
And the same is true if it's going well, we want to reap the benefits.
I think,
Nice one.
the reason that Tara brought this up, we're gonna have that meeting next Thursday night with Planning Commission and DRB are both invited to that meeting next week, because ultimately it's gonna fall or could fall back, Planning Commission, DRB, whatever. So I thought we'd have a joint meeting, and that's all that'll be for. And we'll have, I think we're gonna have plenty of information to go through that night.
I'm gonna take all of the guidance that we have from municipalities, I'm gonna bullet point
Right.
and have it for everybody that night. But this was just something for you as a board to think about before we're in a room with the other two boards trying to make those decisions.
Perfect.
The gentleman behind you has his hand up.
You might want to check with the state, because the state does have a cannabis board. I'm up to medical.
Yep, they're the Cannabis Control Board.
Yeah, and they will give you probably a slew of information into it.
Yep.
Then you can tailor it for our area.
Yes.
The growers, and then find out problems that growers are having as far as security and traffic and stuff like that. But just, it's something to go by and then tailor for our particular area.
Right.
If that's something to be considered, I don't know.
Definitely. Thank you. That's all I have for that, was just this.
Perfect. Town hall update.
Yeah, I have more, definitely work to do on it, but.
Quick update from Tara, or from Eric, sorry, to Tara and myself. The engineer should have prints for the schoolhouse framing support next week to get to actually move the building. As everyone knows, the building has been prepped for move, other than the framing support. Prepping for the generator pad, installing the concrete tubes and conduits for the parking lights. Tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow. Looks like the pours within the next 2 weeks. They're prepping the schoolhouse basement for concrete tomorrow, pour that within the next 2 weeks, which is here on site, not at the old building. Prepping the bank on the upper driveway for the stairs in the next 2 weeks, which is, we're gonna install a set of concrete stairs coming from the carriage barn road down the bank to, if we have an influx of people at a meeting and then we don't have enough parking or whatever, that carriage barn road is gonna get paved this summer. And rather than people coming down the grass and slipping and creating a liability, set of concrete stairs coming down that bank up there was kind of what we thought. Our excavation guy is shaping up the grades in the parking lots. We're installing the remainder of the drainage pipes. The underground propane tank was installed on Monday. As I said, the schoolhouse interior, exterior demolition was done last week, including removing the chimney and cutting the beam pockets in the concrete. Meeting with the building mover on Monday. The tree company, utility companies are ready to schedule when we finalize the move date. And that's going to, at that point, we're probably gonna do a little bit of maintenance on the road out here that goes through this parking lot out to Route 7, because once we start moving that building, we have to have the residents on this street or fire emergency vehicle access in and out. So it'll be a little bit of maintenance out here on this section, just to make sure that we can get ambulances or fire trucks or whatever we need to, or if, God forbid, you have to evacuate people. If we have the schoolhouse in the middle of Center Street, how are we getting people out of there? So, it's not a 4-minute move. So, there's a lot of moving parts. There's no doubt about it that there's a lot of moving parts, but, Eric's been phenomenal in coordinating the moving parts, on this project so far.
Do we have anybody that's volunteered or lined up to like video or time lapse
I'm
this?
sure, what's his name though?
I'm sure Carl,
Thank you.
Villanueva will be, he's put up some pictures of,
He had his drone and everything.
of the schoolhouse demolition, which was.
I just thought it'd be cool to see like a time lapse of that thing coming down the road.
I'll definitely be out there. I'll record it and time lapse it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Great idea.
We should probably reach out to Carl and make sure that he's aware and knows, and find out what his plans are.
Right, because he's been fantastic on this,
Really has.
on this whole process, and thank you, Carl, for that. I don't think anybody's ever, I know I never have.
I've been thanking him.
Honestly.
Those are all from Carl?
Yeah, honestly, I think that, you know, the board, as a board, we should thank Carl for what he's doing because it's kind of cool. It's a huge part of history. Obviously, you know, 100 years from now or whatever, it's, you know, people can look back and kind of a neat thing. I know you have some stuff on the town hall.
Just an update on the old town hall. Hannah and I are gonna research some different lease agreements and, that kind of stuff before we move forward and everything. And then we'll probably have to do maybe a mold study or a mildew, whatever we want to call it, some kind of study just to make sure that it is, you know, usable space. And so I'll update you on that when I have it. And the only other thing is IT services. I met with two companies. And they both provided prices. We have Suter IT and I met with Robert Stewart. Well, it's RCS Consulting Inc. Both great companies, both have, you know, great accolades from the places that I called to research them. And their prices are pretty similar, but I think for ease of access and the most streamlined approach would be to go with Suter IT because we can use all of our equipment that we currently have. We can stay with Outlook and the OneDrive like we've been using, and it's just a simpler approach. That's my opinion. We have prices here if you want to see them, but like I said, the pricing is very similar.
I'm definitely not the IT guy, but my opinion is to move forward with Tara's recommendation. She's put a lot of time and effort into this. She's contacted people, she sat down with them and worked diligently with them. And I believe Hannah's been involved in that as well. So if that's their recommendation, I think that's where we need to go.
Second that.
Any more discussion, questions? Angie?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. Anything else on town hall?
Nope, that was it.
Perfect.
Oh,
Good.
I'm sorry. I had it's a question. It shouldn't change anything. But I know that in a previous meeting, we talked about the floorboards, the floor in there running parallel to the joists. I don't know, what was the resolution to that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do, Bob, and I know I was actually in there with Eric. I think we decided we were gonna try to keep that floor that's in there. And I think they decided they can move it with that floor that's in place. And then places like where the chimney were or whatever, there was enough floor in some closet space that wasn't gonna be used or whatever, that we can patch the floor in with. So.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I really like the floor over there.
Right.
And that's part of why we chose it, right?
Right.
It would be really nice to have the rustic
I
as you
think
walk
that's,
into.
yeah.
I believe that floor, the original floor in the building is staying as it is. Obviously, I'm sure it'll be refinished and taken care of at that point, but the floor, I believe, unless I'm totally missed something with Eric, I believe it's staying there, so.
Okay. That's all. I just had to.
No, that's fine. We're still in town hall. We haven't moved yet, so. Anybody else have anything on the town hall, on the move or anything? Perfect. We need to go into executive session for, personnel and employee review.
So moved.
Second.
We will take action after. So, any more discussion on that? Angie?
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mike? Aye.
Aye.
Jamie?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Mike? Aye. I'll entertain a motion.
Oh, I'll make a motion that we, upon successful completion of the preliminary review period, that we give Hannah an increase to be effective, I think immediately.
Yes.
Until her next planned increase, which would be the new fiscal year starting July 1st.
Second.
Any discussion? Questions?
Should we add on that her next review will become an annual review? Do we need to add that?
Yeah, we can add that. Good idea, Brian.
Right, so do we need a new motion or?
Just amend that motion.
I'll amend the motion that also we're putting her on an annual review going forward.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye.
And also I think the board just wants to publicly thank Hannah for really exceptional work for the time that you've been here. And looking forward to more exceptional work. We've got some stuff for you to do.
We got some projects for you, that's for sure. At this time, I'd like to open up to any public comment.
We got, Jim's got his hand up.
Guys, Jim Kosa's North Mason Hill Road. Got that right tonight. First of all, I'd just like to say that you've got to do something more better with the public comments. You're pushing everyone out till after your executive sessions. You got to give people time to at least talk. I know someone has spoke to you about putting it at the beginning of the meetings. That doesn't help. I think some people like to make comments about what happens during the meeting. So maybe if you can do it before you go into public comments, that way when you're in there for like 30, 45 minutes, people don't have to just sit and wait and look at a screen. Second of all, I don't agree with approving a permit pending. The word I'm referring to is pending. Either it's approved or not approved. But I think that we have to just follow the ordinances. I'm not against what someone might be doing. It might be good. There are kids involved and everything. But when it comes to the point of if they're charging a fee, there needs to be the requirements of security. They're making money. We have to make sure the town is protected. And at the same time, if there's an ordinance out there that says a time requirement for noise and anything like that or gatherings, Bob, I appreciate you using the words, it won't bother me, but I've heard that from prior select board members. It doesn't bother me and I don't care, but I'll vote for it. Second of all, if Lollapalooza came in, there would be a lot of requirements required of them to have security and other items that are involved. So I just want to make sure whatever ordinances we do have, take care of all of this. If it needs to modify the ones that we do have, we can do it. Second of all, when it comes to taking over a cemetery, I just want to make sure we're not involved with cemetery stones, are we? I mean, that's a big expense. I don't mind taking care of the mowing and stuff like that, but there comes to a point of, yes, you agreed that they should use their money, but once that happens, I want to make sure everyone understands we do not take care of stones. If that's what you want to do, I want the people to understand our budget's going to go up to take care of gravestones and stuff like that. Number three, Jamie, I really appreciate you brought up the idea that the decision for the water sewer bills and everything are part of a different organization than the select board meeting tonight. That's fine. Bob, understand that the late fee takes care of additional fees for postage and stuff like that. It should not be an additional fee on top of that. And then the last thing is the town hall. If there could be, as of June 1st, a recap similar to what Tim had done before of monies that we have budgeted for the town hall and monies that are now earmarked for the town hall as of June 1st, will be in the new year. If that could be recapped, just so we all know where the monies are coming from to take care of that, like the woodland or from the ARPA funds or anything like that. But I think it's as of June 1st, we're in the new year. Everyone just kind of understands where it's all coming from. Thank you. If I got my 3 minutes, that's great. Mike.
Thanks, Jim. Jim, I'd like to answer your question about the money for the town hall. I actually plan on meeting with the board. The second meeting, the 26th, I have that planned.
All right, great. Thank you, Tara. Tara, thank you very much for what you did before when I asked why the minutes were on board and you got them right up there. You're doing good.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Yep.
Well, I hope you don't mind, Jim, I'm going to comment on your comments, but not address you on it. But one item is, that was an excellent point about the cemeteries. We really don't want to be in the headstone maintenance business. That is a big expense right now. Mowing is one thing. And so, I think I totally at that point.
And I think that's, and I don't want to speak for Tara, but I know that Tara trying to get into the Vermont Cemetery Association, looking for funding for some of this cemetery maintenance, I think that's her goal.
Right.
Is to
Have to go to taxpayers.
not have to go to the taxpayers for expenses on the cemeteries. I do think it is our responsibility to maintain the cemeteries. You know, stone maintenance, I think, is a whole nother question, but I think that's Tara's goal.
Yeah, and I think, so from our standpoint, maybe it is headstone maintenance for as much as we can get state or whatever external funding.
Right.
Not to be put
Right,
on
not
our taxpayers.
No.
Right.
And not to become an ongoing expense for the town.
Right.
I really appreciate that. One last thing I just forgot, give me 1 minute, is that please, Mike, if you get a chance, the one guy that might be having a problem with the noise and everything over there, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, that's a long time of listening to that. If someone maybe could make it a point, talk with him, just tell him exactly what you guys decided. And I mean, make sure that the security is there so that he is not worried about anything that happens. If it happened up here in my area, I'd be involved. But I mean, I think you were talking for the whole town down there. And I think, if it's great for the kids and great for, I noticed a lot of outsiders that were at the meeting there coming up to our town. I think it would be better if there were a lot of people in our town, and I hope there are, that are participating in that. But if they're making money, they need to spend the money to make sure that our town is secure. I thank you very much. You guys have a great night.
You too.
Thank you.
I just got a couple of things. First of all, I want to give a good shout out to our local volunteers this afternoon. There's a trailer fire on Route 7 across from Dollar General. That could have turned into multiple dwellings and or a wildland fire with the conditions we have. They did a quick knockdown. They did an awesome job. Secondly, the baseball field down there, Joel brought down some gravel. The coaches got hold of me and they were very grateful. The town and Joel able to do that, and Jeff Miller came in, spread it out, also moved the clay from that's around the school, brought it down and redid some of the surfaces down at the ball fields also. So just
Not yet, he's delivered it. We're not redoing the field, the clay until after the season.
Okay, but just want to put it out there that local people are, Joel obviously works for the highway department, but we got local people out there that are supporting our kids in the program. So thank you.
We do have one more.
Yeah, Douglas.
Hi, how are you guys doing tonight? I'd just like to speak to what you said earlier about the cannabis council that you guys prepare to conform. I would just like to explain to you how tough the state has put everything on us already. In terms of cultivation, I would like to understand where your aspects are on that, because as you can tell, the weather is beautiful right now, and the state has already prolonged the season. If we don't have cultivators, we don't have a market. And I'm sure as Pownal, we don't want to be the town that can't provide. Whether we opt in for retail or not, it's established that we can grow across the state, and whether we supply other parts of the state, we would like to try to enhance that market. So as you establish the council, I would like you to consider having licenses or any approvals for cultivators ready to go, because by establishing this council, you trigger a secondary requirement to licensing for cultivators that requires our approval through you to go for our license. And as I said, the state has already prolonged this effort. They don't have anything approved yet. They said they would May 1st. We're soonly coming on where we can't plant anymore. You know, it's a tough start to this first season on the state. And I would just like you to be prepared for a cultivation aspect of what you're about to engage in terms of licensing changes and requirements. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Any more public comment, Hannah?
No.
I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Angie,
Yes.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. See you next week.
Hey, I hope you feel better, Gene.
He looks pretty like he doesn't feel good.
I think he's just got.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.